What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Sector for Nerds. I'm Ryan Brower, and today I'm here to give you guys my thoughts on LEGO Star Wars Summer Vacation. But before we do that, make sure you guys like this video and subscribe to the channel. If this is your first time watching, welcome. I'm someone who likes to do a lot of reaction videos to fan-made Star Wars content, whether that's fan films or tribute videos. And I also like to do a lot of discussions on the latest episodes that appear on Disney Plus from both Star Wars and Marvel, such as what we're doing here today with LEGO Star Wars, you guys. And I'm very excited for the future of Star Wars content. We've got Andor coming up. We've got Tales of the Jedi, Bad Batch Season 2, Mando Season 3, Ahsoka, so much great stuff. So make sure you guys are subscribed so you never miss a video that I release on my channel. It's free, it doesn't cost you anything, and it really helps to support my channel. Thanks, guys. All right, so let's talk about LEGO Star Wars Summer Vacation. I gotta tell you what, you guys, surprisingly, I liked this a lot more than I thought I was going to. Because I remember watching a clip online, and it was of our heroes, Rey, Finn, Poe, Rose, and Chewbacca, 3PO, R2. All of them were on the Halcyon Starcruiser. And my immediate thought was, well, okay, so clearly this is just another thing for the Disney machine to use to promote their stuff. They want to get people to go on the Halcyon. Please go and spend $5,000 for 2 nights, even though a lot of people don't have that kind of money to just be spending left and right. And then pay for our multi-$1,000 drinks, because I'm pretty sure there's a drink on that Starcruiser that costs a couple $1,000, which is insane, by the way. And even while watching this, I'm like, okay, I see what they're doing, and you know what? I guess it is what it is. We live in the Disney era of Star Wars now, and they're gonna use every chance that they get to promote all of their material that they're using. I don't know. I don't have any intentions on going on the Galactic Starcruiser just because of how expensive it is. But hey, for those who do, I hope y'all have a great time and that you enjoy your experience there. And for those who have been to the Starcruiser, if any of you have, let me know in the comments what your thoughts on it were. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let me know. I'm curious. The thing that these LEGO specials are known for, between the holiday special, the Halloween episode, and this one, is that they all like to have like this overarching story about a single character, and then they tell all of these flashbacks to like, hey, remember all of this cool stuff that happened in the Clone Wars and in the time of the Rebels and the Empire? Remember all that cool stuff? Finn was even talking about how he was a mark for the Clone Wars in this episode. While the holiday special centered around Rey, the Halloween special focused on Poe, this one was centered on Finn. Finn plans this vacation on the Halcyon, but he's just not having fun. And there's this moment where he says, like, it's the last time we're all gonna be together, like under his breath. And I'm like, wait, Finn, what do you mean? And we find out later it's because Rey is heading to the unknown regions, Poe is training new X-Wing pilots, and Rose is gonna be leading relief missions. But the thing I loved most about this episode was the flashback stuff. Like, that was kind of the stuff that had me interested in this whole thing, because if it would have just been like them on the Halcyon Starcruiser, like, that would have been boring. But they had the first flashback scene, which I think is my favorite. You know, I'm thinking about all 3 of them in my head, and I'm pretty sure the first one is definitely my favorite, where we get Ben Kenobi, voiced by James Arnold Taylor. I feel like it centers during the time of Kenobi or around that time. And then a girl runs into a bar, and the first thing I wrote in my notes was, I feel like I recognize this girl from somewhere. I'm pretty sure she's from the Freemakers. I'm like, okay, what's her name? I recognize her voice. I know she's from the Freemakers. And then find out it's Valera. I'm like, oh, right, Valera, of course, one of the pilots, I believe. She was in season 2 of the show. I'm a big fan of the Freemakers show, by the way. I thought that's like the best LEGO thing that Star Wars has ever done. And I love that they keep having references to the Freemakers in these specials, because I think in the Halloween episode, right, we got Grabala the Hutt, who's a very funny character. So I like that they keep doing callbacks to that. I was waiting for Obi-Wan to say, you don't need to see her identification, and eventually we got there, but it took him a minute. I love the scene of Obi-Wan dancing, throwing it down, you know, being like, hey, Stormtroopers in the house, Jawa's in the house, you know, everybody trying to distract everybody so Valera could get the coaxium from Jabba. Slave 1 starts chasing after them, and we get like the Book of Boba theme at the end of the episodes. I pop for that. I'm like, hey, I love that theme. And then it took me a minute, and I'm like, oh my gosh, is D. Bradley Baker voicing Boba Fett? And I'm like, oh, it makes sense, you know, Boba's a clone, D. Bradley Baker voices all the clones. Yeah, I get what you're doing there. there. Does Valera have a thing for Obi-Wan or vice versa? They had to flirt with each other and stuff and act like they were husband and wife because, you know what I'm saying. But like, I mean, towards the end there, I was like, yeah, that's interesting. And I loved having Luke at the end where Valera's like, you should join the rebellion. You could still get in on the action. He's like, I got other priorities. And he sees Luke running around. I'm like, oh, that's such a nice added touch. And obviously that story was narrated by Obi-Wan because, he's telling the story of, oh, I went on a vacation once from a certain point of view. And then Finn goes to the beaches of Scarif, which when I heard that, I'm like, wait a minute, but I thought Scarif got blown up or the beaches, the beaches were whatever. But I guess it turns out they are newly refurbished or whatever. So I'm like, all right, whatever. Let's do it. What do we got? And then out comes Anakin Skywalker, Matt Lanner. He even called himself Sky Guy, and I almost started to get a little emotional, like, oh, I miss Clone Wars. Finn, you're not the only mark for Clone Wars here, my friend. So then Anakin tells a story of Vader and Palpatine going on vacation. I think this was my least favorite of the flashbacks, but nevertheless, I still enjoyed this. And then there was, of course, Weird Al. I think I had heard somewhere that they were going to have him involved with this, but I was like, oh my gosh, that's right. I totally forgot about that. Palpatine and Vader playing beach games was funny. And then there's the third flashback scene, which is probably my second favorite of the bunch, but like there was a scene towards the end that was very emotional, and that was the Han, Leia, Ben, Chewie, 3PO, R2 vacation, the Solo Organa vacation, and they keep going to all these places of Han's past, and Ben's getting upset about it, and then Leia's like, you gotta let this kid build his own legacy. But a lot of it was just like Han in denial, him not wanting to let his son go, whereas like Leia knew that it was his time. And then we get another Freemakers reference in this show, and that's Cooper. Cooper was just like one of those rich guys or whatever that I think he lived on the wheel, or he spent a lot of time on the wheel. And then he was also like, hey, yeah, Palpatine's our guy. Then it becomes this thing where like Ben, who I'm assuming is like a teenager at this point, right? Or maybe close to his teens, hanging out with other teenage kids, getting themselves into trouble. And then Han sort of helps him out of it, but also kind of lets Ben handle it on his own as well. It was cool. And then there was like this moment towards the very end of that flashback where they end up saying goodbye to Ben. And I'm like, oh, we're really showing this right now. And then, like, not that I got, like, super emotional, but I'm like, man, what? Why am I? Oh, my gosh, this is hitting me right now. There was a whole I love you, I know thing, and it's just like, man. And then, like, because Leia was the one who presented this flashback scene, and she even says, like, no one's ever really gone. And you see Force Ghost Ben there. I'm like, oh, shit. Also, my man Ben got a kiss on the cheek earlier in the episode as well, so good for you, dude. But then is when we get, like, the final moments of the episode with Finn and all the, gang back together again, and them all sort of, admitting that they were all in denial about separating from one another, but how, like, the memories will last forever. They did, like, some flashbacks to Force Awakens and Last Jedi with stuff that happened with them, but then, like, when they showed the scene with Finn in The Last Jedi, I'm like, okay, but I still didn't like this scene because Finn was going to sacrifice himself. Whatever, regardless, it didn't take away from the moment. Massive group hug, and then they all end up leaving. Overall, you guys, I actually really enjoyed this. I think this was probably my favorite of the LEGO adventures that they've done. Like, I've only gone and watched the holiday special once. I've only watched the Halloween special once. I think the Halloween one was decent. I think the holiday one, from what I remember, was pretty good. But, like, I mean, I definitely really enjoyed this one. Halcyon politics aside, it was good. And when I say, like, Halcyon politics, maybe politics is the wrong word, but just, like, I get what they're doing. It's like they want to promote the thing that they want people to go and do, right? Like, this is something, like, let's be honest, that a lot of children will watch. So you try to cater it towards children, be like, hey, look at this cool thing. So then children can go to mommy and daddy and be like, mommy, daddy, we need to go to this, I don't know about y'all, but, like, I'm not spending that much money. And from the stuff that I have heard about what all the Halcyon Starcruiser involves, it's like, you can do some of this stuff for so much cheaper in, like, your own way. You know what I'm saying? To charge that much money for only 2 nights, like, that to me is insane. But again, it's all about opinions. That's just my opinion on the Halcyon. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode in the comments below. I think the Kenobi Valera flashback was definitely my favorite, with the Ben Solo flashback as a close second. Vader 1 wasn't as exciting. Like, there were a couple funny moments with Weird Al and all the party games and stuff, beach games, but apart from that, and it was, I think, the shortest of the bunch too, so I think they even realized, like, crap, we don't have much for this one, do we? You guys gotta let me know, what did you guys think in the comments below? Be sure to let me know. That is going to wrap us up for today, you guys. Make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel, share this video with others to help support the channel, and I will see you guys next time.
Hello there.